The General State of Video Game Anime Adaptations by Pauline May Landicho. With a vast explorable world and memorable characters, surely video games are great source material to adapt an anime, right? Wrong. Well, that might be a bit overgeneralizing it, especially since some of the most well-known animes out there like Clannad and Steins is from video games, but sadly, good video game anime adaptations are rarer than we would like. Anime has adapted from many source materials out there, from mangas to light novels. But adapting video game in animated form has been a hard one to pull off. The anime adaptation has to walk the fine line of adapting the video game faithfully to satisfy the existing fanbase and make the anime feel like a standalone experience that a new fan can still get into it. If you make the anime adaptation so faithful to the original game that it copies the game to a T, like the anime adaptation of Ace Attorney or the Danganronpa series, existing fans have to wonder why they are watching the anime instead of playing the game instead. Sometimes adapting the video game to this extreme of faithfulness makes the anime a replica of the game, but just without the charm of the player's interaction with the story. Another problem that video game anime adaptation tends to have is the pacing issue. JRPGs anime adaptations are very riddled with pacing issues. It is very inconceivable that a 24-episode, let alone a 12-episode anime can fit a video game story with more than 60+ hours of story content. But anime studios will still try anyway. Persona 3, 4, and 5 have been adapted to multiple anime seasons or films, yet not a single one of the adaptations has fully captured the duality of the life simulation and dungeon crawling aspect that the Persona series is known for. From the 3 adaptations, Persona 4's anime adaptation is probably the best. Animation-wise, it is not up to par with the quality animation of the Persona 3 films, but Persona 4, the animation has managed to capture the charm of the original game and make the story a little bit understandable. Sure, the pacing is still bad, but the little addition they made into the story actually makes up for it. If you are curious about the Persona series, watch Persona 4 the animation and watch it on English dub. This anime is probably one of the best video game anime adaptations out there. Another JRPG franchise that has a lot of anime adaptation is the Tales of series. Like the Persona series, multiple games from the Tales of series have been adapted into anime series and animated films. However, only 3 games of the series actually managed to get a direct anime adaptation of the game they are based on, namely Tales of Symphonia, Tales of the Abyss, and Tales of ZESTIRIA. Out of these 3, the anime adaptation of Tales of ZESTIRIA is probably the only good, noteworthy one to watch. Aside from being animated by UFO Table, Tales of ZESTIRIA the X also made a lot of changes that make the anime an even better experience than the actual game itself. However, you can only truly enjoy the changes of the anime adaptation if you have already suffered. I mean, you play the original game already. If you are a newcomer watching Tales of ZESTIRIA the X, the show will just be an average anime show for you, with a slightly better animation, thanks to UFO Table. You think that JRPGs are one of the best mediums to adapt to anime because of its grand-scale adventure and memorable casts of characters. But sadly, the best of JRPG anime adaptation could do is try to tell the story coherently. Aside from that, the anime adaptation can never really truly be a substitute for the game itself. However, there is a nice video game genre that is probably well suited for anime adaptations: the visual novel genre. It's no surprise that visual novel games are very easy to adapt. In essence, a visual novel experience is just pressing the next button to continue the story. It is a glorified novel, hence the term visual novel games. One of the very popular visual novel adaptations out there is the Fate series. There are a lot of them and are very well animated, since the majority of the anime adaptations are animated by UFO table. The only barrier for entry that is a problem with watching Fate anime adaptations is its sheer abundance of it. I am not neck deep into the Fate fandom, but I heard that there hasn't been a proper watch order to watch the anime series. If you are surprised that there is a watch order to begin with, then maybe skip on this series. Or if you are just a casual watcher, just read the summary of one of the Fate adaptations and see if it fancies you. You might not understand everything due to the sheer amount of lore you need to know, but at least the animation is good. Don't quote me on this, but I heard Phase Zero is an excellent anime to start on to get into this series. If you are in need of some good emotional visual novel adaptations, any adaptations of Key Studios' visual novels are good. Clannad is probably the most popular among them and is considered a certified tear-jerker series. If you like mystery, the Steins Gate anime adaptation is also a good one. It is a slow-burn mystery and has some of the most memorable characters like Okabe Rintaro. The mad scientist Hoi and Kyoma. The series got another anime adapted a few years ago named Steins Gate Zero, so you have more material to burn through. If you like gore and horror, Corpse Party has 2 anime OVA adaptations that are good to watch. They might be a bit short, but the game's feel and atmosphere have been animated well. Just be prepared for the gore because some of them are stomach-churning. The popular horror visual novel Higurashi no Nakokoro ni also has a new anime airing this fall season. As of now, we still don't know if the new anime is a remake of the old one or a new story. So if you are curious, maybe hold on a little longer before diving into this one. You can try watching the old animes, but they are, let's just say, a treasure trove of model keyframes. Castlevania also has a well-animated adaptation. The adaptation technically is not a Japanese anime adaptation, but the aesthetic and animation style is very reminiscent of Japanese animation. If you have played the old arcade game or just a fan of vampire stories in general, Castlevania is a good pick and is available on Netflix. And here are some good and bad video game anime adaptations that I know of. Obviously, there's more out there, but personally speaking, the anime adaptations can never truly be the video game source material they are based on. Sure, the anime adaptation is a good way to be introduced to the game, especially if you are not really a gamer, but the anime adaptation is never really the definitive experience between the two. The statement might sound that I am a bit of a gatekeeper, but sadly, there's not enough anime runtime to cover 60+ hours of content unless you match the video game runtime as well, which we all know is absurd because we'd rather commit to playing the game instead if that's the case.